Welcome to the Troy Kearns Channel podcast, where we talk all things real estate, business, and entrepreneurship. And sometimes we go down the rabbit hole. I have my good friend, my former employee, a man who has changed his whole life around, Darnell Turner. He's 39 years old. He works with my competitor, Casey Ryan. You can check out his video. We've interviewed him several times, and he'll have him back on the podcast officially. But Darnell, I'm so happy to have you here. Thanks for coming into the podcast. You're like my first ex-employee that I have.
That you actually like?
Yeah. Well, no, that I'm actually still on. Like, I'm good with everybody. I think you know that. Yeah. But like some of them just exit the wrong way. But you got a lot of class.
I try to. I was raised right, so my mom would definitely appreciate hearing you say that.
Well, I like your mom. I helped her out with a couple real estate transactions.
Absolutely.
She's a good lady. Kim is her name, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
And she raised her son right. Let's talk about your life. I think that the reason I have Darnell on is he's 39 years old. He had I would say, a pretty good upbringing, but
yeah, absolutely.
Can you tell us about your story, like where you were prior to working with me? I think that's where kind of the story changed a little bit. Not saying I'm taking credit for it.
No, I would definitely give you the credit for it because I was working pretty much jobs that would have me just because of my background and what I've done as a youngster. But I believe, I was definitely doing collections, going nowhere. Actually quit that job because I was trying to get another collections job, which was going to take me nowhere. Happened to fail the drug test, so I didn't get that job.
How'd that happen?
I think it was an error because I don't know what was going on.
You know marijuana's legal now.
Okay, yeah, it was probably the weed. That didn't work out. Actually, my wife, which was my girlfriend at that time, heard of a position that Troy had coming up from a friend of hers that she went to school with, Erica.
Right. I didn't even know they went to school together.
Yeah, Silverado, I believe, is high school.
Okay.
So that's how I got the action at the job. I came in, interviewed with you, probably made up some stuff, but
I don't even remember. I just remember you had a big old keychain hanging out of your khaki pants, like with.
I did not have no khaki pants.
No, you did. Yeah, you had those. You had whatever they're the brown khakis, and you had your keychain with like one of those long keychains.
Oh yeah, that. I just actually took off that little long thing with the lighter on it. But came in, interviewed, and just followed up like crazy because I needed the job. I was trying to get a new place. So I think I called you like every day after, and then pretty much I got the job.
I think you offered me bottle service.
I was trying to do anything.
You offered me bottle service.
My girlfriend was working at the nightclub.
You're like, you hooked me up with a job. I got
anything I could do to get in the door. I was in a rough place at that time. Absolutely.
All right, so that's cool. So we hired you. It was a good move for me, good move for you. We'll get into that a little bit later. I think we need to go back a little bit and talk about because, you gotta, I felt safe working with you, leaving money on the table. I wasn't worried about it. And your background should have me worried about it because you've got, you told me prior to the show that your first time you were incarcerated was in 2001.
Correct, yeah.
And what was that for?
I believe that was, I've been arrested so many times, but I believe it was assault and strong arm. It was something to do with assault. I had gotten into it with a guy and he wouldn't told on me. So that's kind of where that went.
That went in. But the real thing, let's get into the nitty gritty stuff and then we'll go back into, I just want to, because I was always fascinated. Remember, I was always asking you those questions like.
Pretty much everybody is that I work with just because they don't hear nothing about that unless it's a movie.
Right. And I think it just shows that something in the criminal element showed me that even though you were making bad decisions, it showed me you have balls.
Do the things that I've done and try to get away with, which I wasn't a very good criminal, and that's the reason why I stopped. But I have done some reckless things that my mom wouldn't appreciate, and even I really didn't have the balls to do it. I was just in a bad place and had to figure it out.
Right. So you're in a bad place. You had to figure it out. So the last time you got locked up, it was probably something, we won't go into every little detail because that's just kind of boring, but basically you were kind of at the end of your rope. It was you were going to go into a life of prison.
I, at that time, had no intentions on having a job and thought the working man was actually a sucker just because what I was able to do on one 15-minute little situation, I could bring home $5, $10, sometimes $15,000, but it goes out so fast because you don't work for it.
Right. So I remember you telling me, like, kind of like the end of the last crime that you got caught on, you were so flamboyant because you were such like just so comfortable with crime at that point in time
Hmm.
that you said that you were out there, you had hit some store, you
Yeah.
knocked them for like 30 grand in Henderson.
Hmm.
You had kind of cased the joint, if I remember correctly.
Absolutely.
And we won't go through the particulars, but you told me that after you saw the cops buzzing around and you were out there walking your dog, and the reason they
Yeah.
caught you was
Definitely ill-advised. And yeah, I just you kind of once you do something and get away with it, and then you do it and get away with it and get away, then it's like, well, you know what? It gets easier. You're more comfortable and do it. Now, the first time I ever did something like that, heart beating fast, sweaty palms. By the time the last time, it was just kind of like brushing my teeth in the morning.
it's just like anything else new, right? When
Absolutely.
something that is new, whether it's crime or it's an industry or a
Mm-hmm.
career, it just makes you a little nervous the first time you do it.
Oh, absolutely.
And then once you get comfortable with it, so your mom got you a good attorney.
Absolutely.
You got 9 or 10 months and a bunch of probation.
18 months and like 6 or 7 months probation.
So you did 18 months in prison.
Hmm.
How did that go? Were you scared going in there?
Of course. Yeah, it's prison. So I've been in like YA when I was younger, which is youth authority, but prison is like the guy that could you be sleeping with or in your cell could have
Kill you.
choked out his mom. So you're like, yeah, I know he'll kill me.
Right.
So definitely scared. But I noticed in prison it wasn't like you would see on TV. Everybody's respectful and you respect everything around you. And in most cases, you don't have any problems. I didn't have a lot of. I'm kind of charismatic and funny, and
You're pretty good about getting people to like you.
absolutely, yeah.
Right, so you
Especially
wouldn't-
in those situations, you had to
Right. Yeah. You're not trying to go in there and
be tough and all that. Like they say, you go in there and you find the biggest person, you punch him. It's like it's probably a good way to get stabbed at some point.
right. Yeah. Don't go in there making enemies. Go in there and be quiet and keep to yourself.
Yeah,
Right?
if you can.
So when you were in there, what were you thinking about? Like, what was keeping you going to get out on the other side? Because you're doing hard time. I mean, that's
Yeah,
18
absolutely.
months is hard time. It's not like easy time. People can say what they want. Oh, he only did 18. I did 5 years. Who cares? You.
Yeah.
You were out of society with a bunch of criminals, and generally, criminals are scheming and scamming for when they get out.
Well, they're scheming and scamming in, and I was at High Desert, which is maximum security. So
Where's that at?
in High Desert here.
So up just
Um,
like 45 minutes north of here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
And yeah, it was definitely a transition for me being. I've never really been caught in too many crimes, and if I did, I would get probation just because mom would give me an attorney. So at this point, it wasn't an attorney in the world that I was going to say before what I did. And so when I went to the High Desert, it was definitely an eye opener, and the only thing that kept me really grounded and trying to stay out of the way and really not have no problems with my daughter. I wanted to get home to my daughter as soon as possible because out of anybody, she was kind of dealing with this and being affected the most. So that's kind of what it was.
So you felt like you
I was
kind of let
feeling
her
that.
down.
Oh, definitely, I did.
Right. Yeah. That's. I didn't tell you this, but I got pulled over by the cops the other day.
Yeah, you drive reckless, so I'm sure.
Don't say that. I'm gonna get in trouble. So I was taking my children to school with my golf clubs in the car.
Okay.
And I was not driving reckless because I got to actually. Anyways, yeah. So I do drive a little aggressive. That is true. But anyways, I got pulled over. And I know you know this because we've talked about this before about you getting pulled over. You're used to getting like guns pointed at you and whatnot.
Yeah, there's the whole
Right.
process.
So I'm not, right? And so I'm driving down the road in Missouri. We're brand new there. I got my Nevada plates on there.
Okay.
And taking my kids to school. And I'm like literally like 3 miles from their exit. It's a 45-minute drive from where I'm living.
Wow.
Yeah, because we're building a house out there.
I seen it.
Yeah, so where the house is at and where we're living is like a 45-minute drive. We're going through like 2 different counties. Anyways, I'm talking to my neighbor at the point in time. I hang up the phone. You know how when you hang up the phone, you're talking through the Bluetooth, you look at it real quick. I look, set it down, hang up, look in the rear, see blues. And I'm like, oh man, he's been on me for a little bit. Not long, but probably just a couple miles or a mile. So I put my turn signal on, drive down the road. Next thing you know, I roll down the window, find a safe place because it was guardrail, pull to the next ramp. Roll down my windows, talking to my kids. I'm just like, okay, I don't know what I did. I looked at my speed. I wasn't speeding. So I'm like, what did I do? Maybe I was going like 7, 8 over. If I'm going to get a 7, 8 over ticket, I'm going to get one. Okay.
Definitely will.
So all of a sudden I got the window rolled down, talking to the kids. I hear this. I'm like, what? I look out and there's a cop with a gun pointed at me.
Wow.
And I said, so I'm like, gather my thoughts. Normally I would record this, but I'm like, if I grab something.
Definitely shouldn't be grabbing there with the gun.
Yeah, so anyways, within 30 seconds, he tells me to unlock my cars from the outside in, to walk backwards. I'm on the freeway here. I'm walking backwards on the freeway. Put my hands on the tailgate, cuff me, stuff me, put me in the back of the car, squad car, in handcuffs.
With the kids with you too.
With the kids with me, with my golf clubs in the car. And I'm telling him the whole time, I said, why are you arresting? I'm not arresting you, I'm detaining you. For what? He says, I've been following you since Mexico City, which is like a mile and a half. And you're going 82. And by the way, they didn't cite me for speeding or anything like that because I wasn't speeding. But so he points a gun at me, does all this in front of the kids. The kids are totally rattled.
I'm sure.
And I'm in the back of the car. And then I ask for a supervisor. And the supervisor says, who's going to come get your car? And the whole time I've told him I've got my kids in the car. I'm just trying to take them to school. I'm going to play golf. I'm trying to get out of this. Finally, another guy comes. And I just start spewing facts. Like, this is how many houses I bought here. I'm building a house right in Platte County. I just repeat, I'm just trying to take my kids to school. I'm just trying to do this. I'm just trying to do this. I said, I don't know why this is going on. Finally, they got some sense. Like, they got the paddy wagon there. They got everybody. They're taking my car.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, they were like, when the supervisor comes, he's like, I'm backing that play. Whatever this guy made the play on, I'm backing it. And so finally, I got everybody. I talked them out of taking me to jail. And they gave me a ticket for failure to yield to a emergency vehicle because I didn't pull over when the guy wanted me to pull over. Now, when you're going to like this, because you are an African-American man, the cop was an African-American man. We hear a lot of this stuff going on about this and that. I just wanted to say that my personal experience, and this was a nervous cop. I don't care if they're white or black, you know how I am, but this was a nervous cop with a gun. When he grabbed me, I think I'm pretty calm under pressure. You've seen me. And so when he grabs me, I can feel him shaking through and I'm sure you felt that through my arm. Like I can feel him trembling. I said, why are you shaking? And he's just all those nerves. So my whole point is when I'm sitting in the back of that squad car, I'm like, my kids.
That's all you think of, yeah.
My kids are gone. So that was the first time I ever like really realized like what if I ever get divorced or whatever I ever go to jail for
consequences
something.
with everything, and usually your kids hold the burden of it.
So I just wanted to take that little side note to kind of tell you like
it happens.
Like I can understand what you're feeling, but not to the degree because I only lost him for like that
little minute. Yeah. It happens to me, especially when I first got out of prison and I was on parole. They have the right to do you like that, and I understand that everybody has a job. Right. My job as a criminal was not to get caught. His job is to catch me. So I got kind of used to it. Right now, I'm in a different situation. I haven't been on parole forever. I got my record sealed.
You're a new man. You are a new man. The Darnell Turner that was committing crimes doesn't even exist anymore.
Absolutely not. He's gone.
All right, so let's get back onto that because that's what I really want to talk about. But I think it's important to people to understand about who you are because I get a lot of people like, oh, you're rich. You don't know where you came from, this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, man, I didn't start anywhere. My parents got their house foreclosed on. I was a poor kid, just like everybody. And you were kind of like the opposite. You were kind of like a little bit of a rich kid. We call that.
Mom's always had I was black privilege. It was what is the word I would look for. I always lived in the ghetto, so I ended up becoming a product of my environment. But I just was a knucklehead. I went to private school since elementary. I just got infatuated with the stuff that was going outside. Of my house, and once you're a teenager, dad wasn't really in the picture, and just mom. At some point, I'm 17, and I'm looking down at mom like, there's no more butt whoopings or ass whoopings, so there's no grounding or nothing. I might not even come home tonight.
And what are you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. So that it kind of got to that point.
I'm the man of the house now, and I'm deciding what I'm doing.
It was just. She had seen it. I was already gone. So she like, we've been doing this for probably 3 or 4 years now, and she was just tired of it. So.
How's your relationship with your pops now? I've met him before.
Oh, everybody loves me now. I went from being the black sheep to Darnell, which is kind of like I'm second in charge now. But for a while, my little sister was second in charge, so that sucked.
So we hired you, and basically I hired you when I was like in a total like change. I don't know if you know that. Like I was thinking about our conversation today and what it was going to be like. And when I hired you, I was like in transition mode because I had just sold like 2,500 homes. Okay. Went to Asia and I had to I was like, okay, I got to become an agent now and actually work with real people. And I'm like, I don't want to go and start this all over. So we need to hire some people to make some phone calls, start getting some deals. We did that for a little bit. You were the guy that kind of took that plunge with me, you and Erica. And I guess, how am I as a boss? Otep, you're not free to answer. May, you're not free to answer.
Troy, you're pretty laid back as long as you know that your employee is taking care of business. We bumped heads on a couple of things, but 99% it was just me being impatient about a check. But other than that, yeah, I would definitely put you up there with my top bosses. I only had 3, but
Okay,
definitely.
well, I'm number 1 of 3. So Casey, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was definitely going back to the one that's paying me right now.
Oh, yeah.
Go
Casey's
number
number 1. I'm like 1.5.
I'll give you that.
But let's talk about that. So, basically you kind of ran out of steam with me. I mean, Darnell killed it for me. You made it. I don't know. What was your best year working for me, money-wise?
Probably 2016.
What'd you make?
Somewhere around 65,000.
I think you made like 72,000 your first best year, if I remember correctly.
You know what? I spent it so fast and went in and out. I could have at the end of the year.
And that was just as a telemarketer, strictly. You're not going to appointments.
No, just setting appointments. I believe at that time we had transitioned from doing the listings to the new place that you had, and we were doing more flips at that point.
And that just kind of melded in because we hired that guy, Marco.
I remember, yep, absolutely.
We hired Marco, and I was like, and he had been working for somebody else who had started doing that. So we got into the foreclosure radar.
Yes, we did.
It was a lot easier. Then we started chasing tax sales.
Yeah, we've tasted everything pretty much.
Yeah. So Darnell has a good attitude when he comes to work.
Try to.
And we had kind of run the gamut on it, and I felt like I just didn't have the system or time to devote to you, and you were kind of on your island alone.
Yeah, I was definitely on the island alone and was surprised that I was still on the island. So I was like, I ain't had a deal in a while, but Troy's still staying down and paying me. But I knew at some point that was going to come to an end.
Right. I was just kind of like, well, he still looks like he's working. There ain't nothing coming in the front door.
I was working. It was just, I think when we started the foreclosure, the pool was it was a big pool, but it was only a couple fish in there floating around.
Right.
And it's like the word got out after about 2 years, and it was so many fish in that pool. It was just like, it was getting hard. So I was hoping you kind of like okay, this is ran out. We on a new thing. I think around that time, you had got the tow business going.
Yeah.
And it was kicking ass, and I wasn't.
Well,
and I'm like, either I'm going to drive a truck, which I don't want to.
You didn't go that direction. I'm actually in the process of deleting that business.
I know you did well in it, and
no, it's been a terrible business.
No, it is.
Yeah, I did well until the state of Nevada decided they didn't like me.
It happens.
Yeah,
so I'm pretty sure you had nothing to do with it.
It's just my personality, I'm not good at the old. Yes,
Run what your dad say. There go Troy again, running it up the curve.
Fortune favors the bold, right?
It definitely does.
Not the meek. So sometimes that's why you're bold. So let's go back to basically when you were looking to make a transition, I was trying to help you get a spot.
Absolutely.
After we left, you left. It was cordial.
Oh, absolutely.
And so you actually came to my wedding.
I was definitely at your wedding.
You invited yourself. You remember that?
No, I think it was you. Just somebody else didn't come. So
no. Let me. Your memory is a little foggy.
It definitely is. So,
okay.
So correct me.
All right. You're like, can I come to your wedding too? Is there a spot for me? And then I was like, yeah, you could come.
It was at the back table, the worker table. I remember.
Yeah. And then I felt bad. I was like, well, if we invite Darnell.
Don't invite everybody.
We gotta invite everybody, and it was like table 12 or something.
It was definitely. I had a good time though. It definitely was table 12.
Yeah, and that was your exit when I asked you. I said, "Why do you want to come to my wedding?" And you're like, "I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have a good time."
Yeah, I think the bar was open. I heard that the menu was gonna be good, so I'm like, "That's a no-brainer."
All right, so I even went. So now you when you were first started with me, you were dating the girl Annabelle.
Mm-hmm.
Are you married now?
I definitely am for 5 years now, and I hope I got that correct.
Oh yeah, okay. So we'll edit that out if he calls you back and says that's not correct.
You were wrong.
Yeah. So you married Annabelle. She's been behind you. You guys have been working together. You got a child before her, and now you have.
We have 2 together now.
You have 2 together. So let's go through. What are your children's names?
I got Dior, which is 17, and she goes into college next year, which I don't know. And then
that's crazy, right?
It is. And then how much I see college costs, yeah, it definitely is. So I'm gonna be working forever. I got Poppy, which is Aiden, my 3-year-old. He'll be 4 in March, and literally I just had one like 7 days ago.
Yeah, no, 7 days ago.
I'm done.
So you're a family man now.
Yeah. There's nothing else to be. I don't have time for nothing else but family.
So you're working at Casey Ryan's office right now.
Mhm.
What's the name of the company?
WeBuyAnyVegasHouse.com.
WeBuyAnyVegasHouse.com, the #1 SEO ranking website for people looking to sell their house for now.
We do well.
And so I told you, I was like, man, if you're looking, you're good. And I told him, I'm like, I got a guy who's solid. I don't want to see him like
Out there floating because I was
trying to get you
floating.
with the attorney, Tom, who you got along with well, Tom Grover.
Oh, yeah, my boy, Tommy G.
Yeah, so I thought you would do well on that because we had done a bunch of stuff with Tom, and I don't think they were willing to take a risk of hiring you just based on background and
I
stuff.
can't believe that.
That's ridiculous. Tell me your record is sealed now.
Definitely is.
So
unless you're the police.
Yeah. Is that what it is?
Definitely how it goes.
Oh, okay. It's sealed for employers, but the police can still see. Okay. Half seal.
Baby seal.
Yeah, baby seal. So you're over with Casey right now. And has he blown your mind with the stuff he's doing over there?
Casey is definitely a mad scientist. And I've only been there, I think now going on 18 months.
Right.
But he is definitely like next level.
Next level stuff. Like in terms of it just makes your job as a guy setting appointments a lot easier. And that's what I thought. I was like, if you can get him, I'm like, we were doing stuff the old way. And I don't want to be a wholesaler. I don't want to be doing a flipping, scaling business like that right now. And I said, Casey's got it going on.
Definitely did.
Go over there. And then you went over there. You applied for the job. You got the job. And then a couple weeks later, I started getting phone calls.
Oh, it was slow. It was a transition. One, I was rusty as hell because I hadn't been making phone calls for probably like a year, maybe. Right. I was just doing little side jobs to pay the rent. And so when I got the job, I had to learn how to come about getting deals a whole different way. It was all about building a rapport and kind of finding what the problem was, even on both sides, but it was a bit different just because I'm now actually going to appointments and getting contracts signed.
So now you're actually the one getting the contract signed.
I tried to avoid going to those appointments, but once you got
Why do you want to avoid it? You just don't like it?
I'm a phone guy. That's my niche. But when you build so much rapport, they're kind of looking for Darnell. Right. And I got guys in the office that better than Darnell, but most of the time he's already busy, so I got to send to have Darnell. I'm like, I think I'll go to an appointment.
Yeah. So have you learned a lot more over there? Do you feel like your skill set's getting better?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So are you making more money?
Yeah, at this time, absolutely. I'm working more than anybody.
Okay,
because
good.
I got to work harder than everybody just because of my background. But absolutely, yeah. I think
so. You're setting the pace over in the office.
We got another guy that's the boss man halfway there, so he set the pace, and my thing is kind of just to stay right behind him. But at some point, it's like your idols become your rivals. So I definitely
I like that. Where'd you get that one?
I probably heard it on TV somewhere. I definitely
your idols become your rivals. That's a good quote. So you're saying that you like because you're idolizing him, and now you guys are working neck and neck together. Now you guys are competing.
I wouldn't go as far as compete because we all get paid off of it, but
friendly competition, meaning that you're hoping that he does well, but you're hoping you do close to as well
or better,
or better, so that you both do well.
Absolutely,
you don't want him to not do well. You want him to do well. You do better, and that's the way it should go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've known since I've been there, my skill level in regards to being on the phones and getting an idea where people want to go and why they're going there and building that rapport and having them trust me. Prior, I had to build a little rapport, but it was all like, hey, boss man, Troy is one of the coldest at doing this. And if you want to get this resolved and make it pretty much as easy as possible, Troy's your man. So I really just used to big up you enough because I had been working with you forever.
What do you mean, just hand the phone?
Well, just stand on the phone, making sure they were aware of what you did and how you could help them.
Right.
And you're a closer. I've seen you close them on the phone, let alone going to an appointment. And it got so good that you was like, I'm not going to property. They're going to come to me if they want my help. So, but a lot of it was just, I'm kind of the guy, if I hear you say something good, like as soon as I get on the phone, I'm trying that shit.
Yeah.
And I've sponged off of whatever it is.
Right.
And I remember we had Al, who was damn good.
Oh man, Alvin Cole. I wish we could.
You definitely need to get Al on here. Al was definitely. I soaked up a lot of game from Al.
Yeah.
Because I would hear Al say, and then Al was just one of the guys where I would hear him in the background, and he's literally laughing out loud with the guy on the phone. So he did well just off that. But I learned a lot from Al too.
He is, yeah, he's good at just getting in there. I mean,
Absolutely.
just organized as all get out. Never falling through with anything.
Follow-up game is not there.
Yeah, like that's why he's the one call. That's all guy.
Well, yeah, I would set an appointment and he would say, "Oh yeah, it's time to do some reckless Facebook," because he's like, "I did my job for the day." And Al he wasn't looking for nothing but just have enough money to do his thing, get his Newports, and.
But now he got a job driving a bus, right?
I was doing well.
Yeah, is he doing well? Good for him. He's a good guy. It was. I remember.
Al's a bit of a headache and not kind of knowing how things work, and.
But he's got some street sense to that guy. He knows. He's taught me a lot. Like just in terms of like I just asked him questions because there's a different. You can learn a lot from guys who've spent some time.
Al's been on the phones forever.
Yeah, on the phones. He knows. I mean, he's been on the phones. He used to drive a big rig and stuff like that.
Al's been in the Army, drive big rigs. He's
interesting fella.
He definitely is. He's but definitely a good guy and definitely taught me a lot.
So I also learned a lot from Marco. Did you learn a lot from Marco?
Yeah, because Marco kind of gave us the game, and then we didn't know much about it. But yeah, absolutely.
Right. So
I'll be doing well.
So now you're over with some guys who are, Casey's super high on the technology. He measures everything. You guys got a dashboard in there. If you guys, like I said, if you want to check out that video, just go to the Troy Kearns channel, YouTube channel, look at the Casey Ryan. It's like basically, if you wanted to go and start a wholesaling business, this is the video that I would recommend you start and watch and repeat and comment on and ask questions, because I basically went into his whole business and he opened the hood of us all to see. And you can tell, I mean, he's doing more deals than anybody in Vegas by far and making more money than anybody in Vegas by far, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's definitely on some. He's got I believe, an engineering degree. So his mind is
mechanical engineer,
and I believe his brother has an electrical engineer. So I'm just waiting for him to build a spaceship at some point. But
are you gonna fly that?
Hell no, I'm not. I'm cool down here. No, I don't need. I don't even like flying. So let alone the spaceship. But yeah, he's definitely next level, and I hope to be in one day, because you just can't just kind of sit in the same chair and want the same thing out of life. You got to every day you got to take a step and move into your goals, and my goal is to be like you, to be like him.
Sweet. Well, that's good to hear, because when you first started, I remember this, those weren't your goals. Your goal was like, I don't want, you saw my mail and you're like, I don't want to ever have those problems.
I don't want them now. So I don't even want to be on that scale. I just want to be comfortable and know that my kids got money for college. And if I wanted to take the wife to Dubai, then that's what I want to do. But other than that, that's
not too much, but a little bit more than what you got right now.
A lot more.
A lot more. Okay, good. So what's a lot more? Let's get into that. So good. Congratulations, first of all. You're buying your first ever house.
Mm-hmm.
You're 39 years old. You're buying a house in Silverado Ranch in Nevada. You got a big smile on your face right now.
I'm trying to hold it in, but
don't, man, let it out.
I'm around the corner from it closing.
That's a big deal, man. That's a huge.
It is. Every time I sign one of those docs, I'm like 30 years. And I remember I never wanted to own a house. I'm like, who wants to commit to 30 years? Like, you're going to keep a job, that same job for 30 years, but it's just what you do. You grow up and you keep supposed to buy a house.
Well, I mean, I think it gives you stability, right? Like when you have a rental house, it's like, it's not my house. I don't care.
You definitely don't.
There's no pride of ownership.
Not at all.
Right? When you have your own property, I know you're a shoe guy. How many shoes you got these days? Listen, we gotta could you send us a screenshot of the shoes that you got?
My wife could literally send you one right now, because I just had them out on display. I'm a shoe guy.
How many shoes you got?
Over 100.
What's your best shoe?
I think it's probably gonna be it's called a Taxi 12. That's my favorite shoe.
Taxi 12. What is that?
Just black and white shoe that's very plain, but it was I think because it was the shoe that my mom couldn't give me at that time. So now I'm kind of reliving my childhood, and so everything that I wanted, literally everything, I'm trying to buy it at this point.
So let's talk about that. That's cool, because you're making money.
I definitely am.
Yeah, you're making money right now. You're doing well for your family. You're able to buy yourself a house, and part of that is being able to reward yourself about your childhood dreams, like the shoes that you wanted to have. I had the Reebok pumps, and that's where I left off.
I think I got
my shoe game is lacking. You've known that for a long time. My fashion style is lacking.
I noticed that cats with that got money ain't really worried about style. You
Until you
definitely
get
not
onto
that.
social media and you got everybody clowning you on everything.
Well, you got your wife's help with that.
Yeah.
You know, we all need some help.
Yeah. Well, that's what the deal. Like my buddy's like, actually, what happened was my friend Jason Abrams. We did a podcast with him. He's like, bro, if you're gonna get on social media, he's like, you're wearing like tents for shirts. He's like, you gotta,
You gotta
wear a
get
size
some,
that fits you.
some form fitting.
Yeah.
Even if the form ain't great, you just don't want to. Yeah, boss man, you got more things to worry about than what you got on today.
That's true. So, what are you? Okay, so you're buying the house. That's your immediate goal. You're making record-setting money this year.
Yep.
I would say close to 6 figures or over 6 figures.
I am definitely by the end of the year gonna have be at 6 figures, and next year I'm gonna even kill them more.
So and let's say, and 9 years ago you were doing time in prison.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure around.
And now you have 2 children, or you have 2 newborns. You have one who's about ready to graduate high school, and real estate. Real estate and mindset has changed your life.
For sure, real estate. And then when I had my daughter, which is now 17, I was still in the streets.
Right.
And my father has always been, not what I would say a provider, but he's always paid his child support. He maybe not wasn't around, but he definitely took care of the child support. So I didn't quite understand what a father was. Of course, I knew what my mom was, but I didn't understand my responsibility at that time. So I had the kind of the mindset, like, if something happened to me, her mother can take care of her.
Right.
Which she can, but everybody needs a dad. It definitely gives you that push. Moms are kind of easygoing, which my mom wasn't. But dad's a real stern. I'm like, you definitely gonna do what I tell you, and outside of that, it's probably not a good idea.
Right.
Definitely.
So what do you see yourself doing in the next 5 years, 10 years? What offer of advice to somebody who's listening to you right now and being like, because people give themselves all sorts of excuses why they can't do something and stuff like that. You have plenty of excuses right now. You had a felony record, but now you're making money. You're qualifying. You're buying your own houses. You're probably going to start doing your own wholesale deals here eventually.
Absolutely.
Retail deals. I hope you do all of it. I hope you make lots of money. I've always been rooting for you. I want you to do super well. What advice would you give to young people, to people who are old, people who are looking for a change? What would you give them?
Like you told me, throw your pride out the window. That's like the first thing. When I got back home from prison, it didn't matter what job they gave me, whether it was McDonald's, Taco Bell. I just wanted a job. So I threw my pride out the window, and then I understood that the only way I was going to get anywhere in life was by working hard. I had the dream that I'm going to get a check in the mail from my dead auntie that left me $2 million, or 10 pounds of weed's going to fall off the back of the truck, and then I'm just going to be balling. But none of that actually happened. So it came from me just working hard, and then working harder than everybody else. So they could see me work. If you're working hard and they see you working hard, you can kind of show.
You'll have a job.
You always have a job. Even if I sucked at the job I don't think my first deal was you selling my wife's house.
Yeah, I mean, the reason that you had a job is I saw you working hard. You were terrible on the script.
Terrible.
But you were banging the phones like a beast. And I knew that I could solve the other problems, but I couldn't teach you how to work hard. You had that going for you.
It's repetition. Anything that you do more and more and more, you get better at. Whether it's shooting basketballs or getting on the phones and just sucking. And people used to tell me, like, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. And I think the reason why I got the job with you is because I made up something like, oh, yeah, I'm proficient in
Excel.
And he asked me a couple questions about Excel, and I totally couldn't answer. He was like, you know what, you're good at bullshitting, so let's just get you on the phone and try to work on you.
And you put that proficient in Excel stuff. You weren't expecting that on the resume. The resume is so funny. When you're reading through people's resumes, I'm always interviewing. You're actually a very good employee. You're on time. You're a really, really good employee. You try to go the extra mile. You look out for stuff. You kind of act like you're in charge a little bit. Like we gave you the office manager title, I think.
Oh, I just made myself the acquisitions manager at over there with Casey.
Okay.
You got to kind of put yourself in a position. So
yeah,
if something does happen, I can be like, I was the acquisition manager at We Buy Any Vegas House, and they're number one in the state. So
yeah, you've been good at that. Doing that sort of thing. You're good at having always pretty much a real good attitude when you come to work.
Yep.
You're on time.
Absolutely.
OTEP, who is our podcast videographer, could take a lesson. You might want to give him some.
OTAP's always on time. I don't know. I can't bat my boy. He'll be at my house later on today. So yeah, OTAP's on time.
So, all right. So that being said, OTEP, can you work at being early? If on time is late, then
Like
let's
you
do
said.
early as being
It's
I'm on time on my time.
it's the sickness. Every time you say he's gonna be at my house at 7, he's usually at like 6:50.
Are you serving tequila?
Yeah, that's what you. Well, yeah. I'm
Okay,
waiting to do that.
Yeah. All right. So then I just need to tell him.
Have some tequila around
If
it.
we got tequila coming on time. We're good to go. All right. Well, I appreciate so. Just to go through some things, you're 39 years old.
Mhm.
You basically restarted your life about 5-6 years ago. It's going the right way. You got a
Yeah.
big smile on your face right now.
I'm trying not to hold it in, but yeah.
Hey, why are you holding it in, man?
Things are going well. I don't want the boss man, meaning Casey, to see me and see the big smile and don't think I'm gonna ask for some more money and wow. So things are going well, but I got that from you. You never stop asking.
Yeah, Casey's a businessman. He's gonna put his money against his best guys all the time
Yeah,
because
he
he
does.
wants to keep them there. That's what a good businessman. And I thought that was the best thing for you to train so that you come over to the dark side. No, I'm just messing with Casey. Casey, we're recruiting him right now. That's why I'm putting him on the podcast. Darnell, no. Anyways,
I'm pretty sure you can afford me, but it would go up if I came back too.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like being retired and coming back.
No, I'm going a different route right now. I've got a pretty clear vision of where I'm trying to go. Where's your vision?
Within 5 years, I hope to have the house that I'm about to move in now as a rental. Of course, buy another home. And just kind of keep on moving forward in life. You don't want to get stagnant and get comfortable.
Right.
That was the main. When I was with you, I got comfortable. I'm making good money, and I'm from the ghetto. And
Where you from?
Compton, California.
Where's that? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm about to say everybody knows. I'm from the east side of Compton, California.
What high school did you go to? I know we talked about that a little bit. That was
Dominguez.
what was the rough one you were telling me about?
That was the rough one where we used to. It looked like a prison, and every year there was a race ride, and that was definitely a rough one.
Right.
That one in Dorsey.
Dorsey. Okay. So those were the schools. So 5 years, you're gonna have a house. You're gonna keep pushing forward. You're gonna turn that house into a rental house, buy another house.
Mm-hmm.
Then what's next?
Stay on the phone. Keep on getting deals.
When does Darnell Turner retire? Meaning that you have more income coming in passively. Are we not getting that deep today?
I don't ever see myself retiring. I'm on the phones, and I got to sharpen up my edge. And I'm a t-shirt kind of regular shirt kind of guy. So if I do go on appointments, which I plan on doing, I got to kind of sharpen it up. And I tried the whole real estate and going to school. But I've learned from you and other people, like you move a little bit better when you don't have that license.
Right.
So the main thing is just be you, be Casey, and just get, like I see you guys and you're beyond having your foot in the door. Right now, I'm like just turning the knob and trying to get it open. And I've opened a lot of doors, but this is like the main one I want to do. And I have no intention on doing anything else. But
just stick with Casey. He's going to get you where you need
I'm going to stick with Casey as long as I outgrow him.
Right.
Yeah.
If you can outgrow that guy, that'd be interesting.
Meaning that not outgrow him, but to the point where what I make with Casey, I probably know I can make on my own.
Right.
And I forgot what, and this hope it don't sound wrong, but you had me reading Sun Tzu or
The Art of War.
No, was it?
Power. 48 Laws of Power.
No, it was the Think Rich, Poor Rich, or that whatever that
Think
one.
and Grow Rich.
There you go.
That's Napoleon Hill, 1937.
That's the one. I read that, and it's not a slight, but it said you can't keep on being the camel with the guy on your back with the carrot in front.
Right.
And I can be the camel. I'm probably the best dressed, best living camel, and don't have a problem with being it. But at some point, you just can't keep.
Well, you have to decide. The choice is always up to you.
You got to bet on yourself at some point.
Right. You have to bet on yourself.
And you got to be out there scared, and it's gonna be rough. But only way that you're gonna get and elevate to the next level and become really the upper echelon around here. And I'm driving Benzes and Rolls Royces. You probably don't get that working for somebody.
I've never. And I've looked at the Forbes 400 list a lot. I've never heard anybody that said saver. I got there by saving my money. I got there by being an employee. I never seen that. Like
saving money doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. So
do something with it.
Right. So, the only thing that's going to get you there, everybody has this in common, is hard work. hard work solves all the problems, and then
Pretty much that.
and then financial intelligence backed with hard work, which you're learning from guys who have it. Surrounding yourself with other people, you're changing your network, right?
Absolutely.
You're not hanging around a bunch of guys robbing people anymore. You're hanging around guys who are buying houses at a discount and making money off of it.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate you coming in. Is there anything you want to ask me while you're here? I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying you supposed to have a lot of questions.
Not really got a question to ask, just that you got to kind of stay on your grind. I got a background that season. Like you run my background online, it's still going to come up. I got my record sealed, but in regards to employees use a certain database, but when you want to just find out something, you can use a TLO or certain things of that nature. So me knowing that, I had to work harder than everybody else. I had to be on time. I couldn't be late. I had to go put on locker boxes. I had to go kick people out of homes.
Except for that one.
Which one?
You remember the one when you called me and the guy pulled the gun on you?
Oh yeah, that was a part of it. I've been in where the guy put a gun on me. I've been around where I've been in a real seedy side of town, and there was a guy in the vacancy and kind of just elbows me and runs out the door.
We've had a bunch of those. We chased those other dudes down over on Tropicana.
You got that bad. I'm like, let's just get danger over with.
I'm
gonna catch him.
I'm done with it. I gotta be done with it. I still like that little bit of adrenaline, you know.
You gotta chill. You got kids. And like I said, you just gotta chill. You be all right. Just no speeding.
Yeah, no speeding. Keep it off the curb.
No, yeah, don't run it up the curb. Yeah, so keep it on the street.
That's it. Well, I appreciate you coming in. It's been nice to chat with you. I think you're going to be inspiring for a lot of people that see that, like, everybody gives themselves I can't do it, and here's my reason why, and I'm going to sign off on that. And you have every reason in the world to be working in a warehouse and renting an apartment building.
Right now.
Right? And instead, your trajectory is changing. You're a businessman. You're thinking about your next business move. You got 100 pairs of shoes.
There's no ceiling at this point.
There's no ceiling. You don't see a ceiling anymore. At first, You're like, I'm just going to go and get.
I was just happy with buying new shoes, paying the rent, and going out and hanging out. That was it.
So stay humble, stay grinding.
Keep all that pride at your house. And if you are in the situation that I was in, you should definitely be working harder than everybody else. And you should definitely try to put yourself in a position or in a job where you can win. Because working at In-N-Out or Amazon, which I did at one point, I worked at Amazon and with Casey at one point, just because I was all about getting my money, and I was so used to getting money with you.
Yeah.
I had to kind of get back there. So main thing is just stay on top of your grind, and everything else will kind of come in play.
Right on. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning into the Troy Kearns Channel podcast, where we talk all things real estate, business, and entrepreneurship. And we go down the rabbit hole. Darnell is somebody I wanted to bring on to inspire other people who might have some background and just show you that, like, just whoever you're working for, don't let it decide, like, go work for a small business where you can talk to the owner directly and you can explain, like, hey, man, I'm not who I was then. I'm a different person.
I had to earn the trust.
Right. You earned the trust, but at one point in time, I gave you keys to my house. I gave you keys to my car.
I was collecting rent for it. I didn't do that the first couple months.
Yeah. Probably the first couple years, actually.
Probably so, yeah.
Right.
I wouldn't trust me at that time with my background. I've literally collected tens of $15,000 on the first between the seventh for rent. So just seeing that, I'm like, I got to get some money, because Troy getting this mailbox money, and it seems like it's a lot easier than getting up and going to work. So yeah, passive income is definitely where I want to be, but I don't think I'll ever stop working.
I love it. All right, man. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, big dog.